All right, today we're talking about how Tom Holland and Spider-Man No Way Home got in shape, or at least how I think he got in shape. And this one's gonna be good, and I think you're really gonna wanna pay attention to this one because I really did not wanna make this, but I find it super necessary. So jumping into it, not gonna make you wait, let's rock and roll. JosiahNovak here with thetruetransformation.com. I help men 30 and older get ripped, boost testosterone, and ultimately use fitness as a tool to improve all parts of life, from finances to family to their future, and realize their full potential. On today's video, I wanna talk about Spider-Man. Now, I'm not into Marvel. Just being completely honest with you, I'm not into the Avengers and all that stuff. In fact, true story, I've never seen a full Avengers movie, except for Black Panther. I did see Black Panther, and now I've seen Spider-Man. I took my kids to see it because a couple friends of mine said it was great, it was entertaining. I said, hey, let's go check out a movie. They're old enough now, let's go watch it. So I was watching it, and Tom Holland is in the movie. He's a young actor, mid-20s, good shape. I had a couple scenes where he's shirtless and he's ripped. And I said, man, dude's got a great physique. So when I was out of the movies, I happened to check out, I just Googled, what diet did Tom Holland follow? What was his workout routine like? I was just curious. Kind of stems from when I was a kid, watching Arnold, Sylvester Stallone, guys like The Rock, as they became more and more famous for their physique. I was always inspired by what they did to get in shape. I think the movie 300 was probably one of the biggest inspirations in my younger years. And so I just checked out his routine, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. I was expecting your standard that you see out there from actors, crash diets, crazy CrossFit workouts, 2-a-days. They got a nutritionist where they're just doing chicken and veggies all day long. And they're basically taking anabolics and fat burners and HGH and all these things to just look good temporarily. But when I checked out Tom Holland's program and the stuff that he did to get in shape, I was really surprised and pleasantly surprised. So this is his physique. This is what he looks like in Spider-Man No Way Home. Good movie, by the way. I'm not a huge fan, like I said, of superhero movies, but I like this one, and so did my kids. So it was pretty cool. They brought back some old actors. I'm not gonna spoil it, by the way, but it was good. So let's dig into what Spider-Man did to get in shape, because this is really important. Now, before you say, oh, he's a young guy, it's easy for him to get in shape. Well, that's totally false. I was overweight in my early 20s. I was probably in my worst shape of my life in my early 20s, and it wasn't because of anything besides the fact that I just wasn't doing the right things. So just as you might say it's easy to be in shape in your early 20s, you can't neglect the fact that it's actually very easy to be out of shape in your 20s. And the obesity rates are skyrocketing for guys in their 20s. So guys in your 30s and older, 40s, 50s and beyond, you need to pay attention to this, because the things I'm gonna share with you today are things that are gonna work for Tom Holland and for you. So I wanna go through what he said and some of the key takeaways that I think are super important. So first thing that he talked about was his nutrition. He said that he eats what he wants, but he just tracks his calories. I was like, wow, that sounds familiar, right? That's exactly what I teach our clients. If you wanna get lean, you wanna be streamlined, you need to pay attention to your calories. And yeah, there might be periods of time where you bring calories down a little bit more aggressively, and maybe you have a beach trip or vacation or even a photo shoot, or you're just gonna be at the pool all summer and you wanna be extra lean for those occasions, and you might bring your calories down a little bit more than you normally would just to lose a little bit of weight. But he talked about calorie tracking and how he ate what he wanted, and obviously he did say he ate mostly healthy foods, which I thought was perfect. That's exactly what I teach our clients, right? It doesn't have to be this Spartan level diet where all you eat is tuna, chicken, and broccoli all day, or salads, and you can't ever have dessert, or you can't ever partake in a couple drinks, or you can't have pizza and burgers and all that stuff that we all honestly enjoy. So that was the first thing that I really found extremely just exciting, because it's good to see people in Hollywood especially, where it's so easy to fall for like, hey, just take this steroid, or just take this HGH, or just do this crazy workout and diet to get in shape temporarily for a movie, and then once you're done with the movie, just go back to whatever you look like before. I'm not gonna name names, but I will say there is a guy who has a weird hand in a movie that might have X in the name, that I do see he stays lean, but he looks way smaller when he's not doing his role in that movie. And it's clear to me, just from an expert and someone who's seen a lot of guys who are on things and not on things, that he's probably taking something, and that's just me being honest with you. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your thing, cool. But it's nice to be able to look at someone's physique and say, hey, I can attain that without a lot of extra stuff. The second thing is that he was very consistent with his training and his activity. So he talked about his prior experience before getting into acting when he was really big into gymnastics and dancing and things like that. And he said he stays lean by just staying active. And that is just one of the biggest hacks, if you will, for guys, especially as we get older, right? A lot of people think, oh, my metabolism is slowing down drastically, or, oh, it's because my testosterone is super low and I'm just not what I used to be in my early 20s. And yeah, well, some of that might be true. What tends to happen as you get older is you just get less active. You're sitting around way more than the average person. It's honestly one of those things where it's easy to fix because all you gotta start doing is moving more in your day-to-day life. I recommend clients typically walk about 10 to 12,000 steps a day. Might seem like a lot, but when you look at how impactful it is, not just on weight loss, but health, longevity, energy, digestion, just clarity, all these things add up and you're like, man, walking feels like a superpower. And honestly, if you don't like walking, you could do the bike, you could do the step mill, you could do the elliptical, you could do a lot of different things to fulfill your cardiovascular needs. But ultimately, walking is one of the big things I suggest for all clients. And look, you may not be into gymnastics or dancing or whatever this Tom Holland guy is into, but you can just get more active. Maybe it's boxing, maybe it's jiu-jitsu, maybe it's just cycling outside, maybe it's climbing or hiking or whatever it is. Like, start to look at your day and say, where can I be purposefully more active in my life? That's a huge, huge factor when it comes to getting lean. Okay, so the last thing Tom Holland did that I found really, really great and something I would recommend for most guys, especially guys who are successful, who have a lot on their plate, family, responsibilities, all those things, is he hired a coach. Yeah, he hired a coach to help him train. I don't think he hired him for nutrition. I'm sure coach offered some advice on nutrition, but he hired him to stay accountable. All right, he stayed accountable to someone while he was in the shoot for the movie because he knew if he was tired from shooting all day and didn't want to work out, he's probably more than likely gonna skip his workout. But if he had an accountability partner, he would show up and get it done. This is massive. This is something that I think everyone should have. Now, fitness might be your thing. You might be like, I don't need an accountability partner for fitness. And that's great. If that's you, awesome. But you might have an area of your life where you do need an accountability partner. I have accountability partners in different parts of my life. I have it in my marriage, with someone who I stay accountable to have a healthy marriage so that my wife is well taken care of. I have an accountability person for my fatherhood. So I have a friend who runs a fatherhood coaching business and I reach out to him all the time just to stay on top of what I'm doing as a dad. Fitness is my thing. So I stay accountable because I do it for a living. Like, I love it, right? But all my clients stay accountable to me and my team because they need that accountability person in their life. And that's part of life, okay? Maybe it's finances for you. Maybe you need someone to help push you to reach your big financial goals. Maybe you want to retire early. But hey, if fitness is the area where you're lacking and you're like, hey, I have a lot of good things in my life, family, finances, career, all these things are good, but I'm overweight and I'm unhealthy and I can't seem to do it myself. Don't panic because some of the most successful people in the world are the same exact way, including a guy like Tom Holland who is getting paid millions of dollars to be in shape for a superhero role where he's going to be shirtless on camera. There's not a whole lot more in the world to keep you motivated than those things, but he's still hired a coach. I just found that incredible because a lot of guys, hire trainers and stuff, but he specifically referenced him as my coach to keep me accountable, which that's incredible. So highly recommend getting coaching. And if you're looking for someone to keep you accountable, we have a program for you. It is our high performance fat loss coaching program. You can check it out in the description below. There's a link to go and apply if you're interested, if you're a guy 30 and older who wants to get ripped, boost testosterone, and ultimately get your health back on track. To wrap things up on this Spider-Man that we all wish we looked like, but ultimately he's got a great physique and someone I would suggest modeling in terms of behavior. You may want to look different, you may want to be a little bigger, a little more cut, whatever, but he stuck to calories, tracked his food, stayed accountable to the total amount of food he was taking in. He worked out consistently or stayed active consistently, and he hired a coach to keep him accountable when he was more than likely gonna skip the gym or not stay on top of what he needed to do every day. Super awesome. Guys, if you made it this far in the video, appreciate you. Leave a comment below. What is your favorite physique in Hollywood? I wanna know, because maybe I'll make some more videos on guys who have been in great shape in the movies to give you some ideas on what they do and maybe how you can apply it to your day-to-day. In the meantime, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, like this video. I'll see you in the next one. Life moves fast. Make it count. Let's go.